This is the story of how I lost over $19,000 in just about 15 minutes. Rewind the clocks back to the summer of 2020. Everybody's terrified of COVID. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody's got a job. Nobody's going into work. And most importantly, there's no sports. There's no sports gambling, and everybody turns to the stock market in order to get their gambling fix.
I'm 8 steps ahead, you fucking morons. Let's turn this machine on.
And it's freaking wild, dude. Like, there are stocks that are just ripping and going up and up and up for absolutely no reason at all. There's a ton of people involved in the stock market that have never been involved before, and there's so much opportunity to make and lose a lot of money trading stocks. And so leading up to this fateful day, I had actually been crushing it because stocks were going up and up and up and up. And if you followed me or the channel for any extended period of time, you know that I love shorting parabolic stocks. So stocks that go way too far, way too fast. I love shorting them and having them come back down. It's fantastic. It's a great way to make money consistently in the market. I still do it to this day, although now I have certain rules in place in my trading to mitigate the disasters. And so, like I said, leading up into this, you'd have stocks that were going up and up and up, and I was shorting them and just making a killing. Even the morning of my biggest intraday day trading loss, I was killing it, and the stock was Kodak. Yep, it was the camera company, and it was July 28th, 2020. It was actually the first day that it started its parabolic run, and the stock had gapped up, and it went from like 6 to 10 or 11, and it closed the day right around $10 or $11 a share. And I actually don't remember if I made or lost money on it that day, but I remember I was really excited because it closed near the highs, so I was excited that it was gonna gap up and I was gonna trade it the next day. And so I woke up real early, got out of bed, ready to go. And much to my delight, in the pre-market, Kodak was just going up and up and up. It had traded at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It was really getting up there. And so once the market opened, I obviously was very excited to trade, and that's what I did. So the market opened, stock rips all the way into the mid 20s, and it looked very overextended at 25, because again, it had closed the day before at like 10 or 11. And so I smack it at 25, and actually the worst thing that could have happened to me happened. And that was that the stock immediately cratered back to like $21, $20, $19 a share. I almost immediately had made $3 to $4 a share on my short, and I covered it, and I was up like $3,000 or $4,000 in a couple of minutes into the trading day. I was on cloud 9, baby. And that's where the problems developed. And I should preface this with saying that this was back when, I don't even remember what the press release was. I just remember it involved Donald Trump. And, say what you want about the guy. He has a pretty incredible following and pull when it comes to the stuff that he's, selling and promoting. And Kodak was one of those things. And I guess I had just underestimated just how excited people were about this announcement of a basically defunct old camera company and Donald Trump. Oh, I see what it was. Trump gives medical stockpile a Kodak moment with new loan to make drugs. So the Trump administration gave $765 million as a loan to Eastman Kodak so that the company can manufacture ingredients used in pharmaceuticals. That's why the stock went up. Obviously, I thought that was an absurd thing to do, and so I wanted to short the stock. But like I said, it went from 25 to 20, and immediately the stock went back to 25. And it was really the first time, most of the time leading up into this, the weeks and months leading up into this, you'd get the parabolic move, the stock would tank, and that was it. It would stay down, and there was no additional moves after the parabolic move. This time it popped right back up, and I thought, that's weird.
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
I was a little nervous at this point, I'm not going to lie, so I didn't short my full position. I shorted about a fourth of the total position size that I wanted, which was about 1,000 shares. So I shorted 250 shares, and immediately the stock halted up against me. So anybody that's been trading, for any amount of time knows that there's all different types of halts in the stock market, but one is a volatility halt. So if a stock moves too fast, too quickly, the stock will actually stop trading for 5 minutes and let the market kind of figure itself out, and then it will reopen for trading. And so it halted against me, but I was only in a fourth size of my position. It was 250 shares, and I wasn't that nervous yet. And so it comes out of the halt, and it starts to halt up again. And this was the critical moment in time, looking back, where I had to make a decision of, did I really want to commit to this trade and continue adding to my position, or did I want to cut it for a small, probably would have been a $750,000 loss, $750 or $1,000 loss, not a $750,000 loss. It would have been relatively small, according to the size that I was trading. But I didn't do that. I decided to go in bigger, so I added more. And quite frankly, at this point, the chart looks ridiculous. It's gone from like $4 the day before all the way up to nearly $30 a share now. And then it comes out of the second halt, and it starts to halt up again. And I said, you know what? Fuck this shit. I added the rest of my shares, and now I'm 1,000 shares short with an average of under $30 per share. But I'm thinking, you know what? I'm down like 5K, 6K at this point. I was already up big, in the morning. So I'd given back those profits unrealized, but I thought if I just give it enough wiggle room, it'll probably come back and I'll be fine. And I was not fine at all. If you go back and look at the chart of Kodak that day, July 29th, 2020, you see that it actually touched $60 a share just a few minutes after this. And I'm actually very lucky that I stopped out when I did, because the loss could have been worse. It could have kept going. I don't remember the exact price that I got out of, but obviously the stock continued to halt up again and again and again and again. I want to say there were 7 or 8 halts that were just straight up. And obviously it was a situation where brokers were being forced to buy in their clients because there were so many margin calls and so many people that were trying to short. And it was really at the time an unprecedented move. We had seen stocks go crazy parabolic before. That was not new. There were, shipping companies years before, stocks that had gone from, $2, $3 a share all the way to 100. But typically it happened over the course of like days or weeks. This was really one of the biggest intraday squeezes that I had ever seen or heard of. And I finally got out of the stock, like I said, somewhere in the low to mid 40s with about a $19,500 loss after a bit of slippage. And like I said, I don't remember exactly what my position size was. It might have been 1,200 shares instead of 1,000, but I remember my average was somewhere in the upper 20s, and I got out somewhere in the mid 40s right before it ripped to 60 and would have potentially doubled that loss. But that really, it sucked in the moment, and it took me almost a month to make back that loss, not only because it was $19,000, but also because after you take a big loss like that, it it messes with you mentally quite a bit, and it takes you at least a few days, couple of weeks just to get back into the swing of things and build your confidence back, especially for me, because if you look at my P&L, equity curve, I actually don't like taking a lot of risk, even though I'm a day trader. My equity curve stays very close to its all-time highs. I don't like taking a ton of risk and going into these big drawdowns and having huge swings back and forth. I like the steady kind of stair-step approach. I'm not gonna, make a ton of money really quickly, but I'm the tortoise, bro, and I just keep going every single day, slowly but surely. So this like dramatic loss definitely, played a role and took a toll on my mental psyche a little bit. But you know what? That loss actually solidified a lot of the rules and systems that I have in place in my trading now that allow me to avoid potentially, really dangerous situations like that. And that, you know, if you've been trading for any amount of time, everybody's got a horror story. And we were actually talking inside Green Wall Street, and everybody was sharing their horror stories. And I thought that that would make a good video and story time, because like I said, everybody's got it. And it's not until you have that kind of light bulb moment and that scary loss that actually scares the rules into you. That's what you need in order to build a, you know, system and something that's consistent and something that's actually a safe way to trade. Because just because something is up a lot does not mean that it's, you know, a free short. Anybody that, you know, obviously this kick started a ton of these moves. You can go back and look at like SLI, GLSI, SPI. That's what it was. GameStop, obviously, AMC, ton of these parabolic moves followed Kodak, but Kodak was really the one that started it. And, you know, luckily I learned my lesson on that one, because if I didn't, it could have been, you know, a lot worse. But yeah, that was my biggest, still to this day, biggest intraday trading loss. Not my biggest trading loss ever. If you guys want to hear about that one, can definitely make another video about it. Let me know down in the comments. But stay safe out there. I hope everybody is having a good 2023 so far. GreenWallSt.com. Definitely come check it out. Join the Discord. Trade live with me every single day. And if you don't, you just want to watch the videos, that's fine too. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll catch you right back here next time. Peace out, everybody.